What's up, everybody? I'm PhantomWalrus, and we're here today to go over how to improve your aim on Apex Legends PC, how to aim better in Apex Legends, specifically with a mouse and keyboard. We're going to go over several drills for you to work on and to practice on your own in the firing range each and every day, just for a few minutes is all it takes, guys. I guarantee you're going to see an improvement in your aim in Apex Legends. Let's get into it right now. So guys, as we get started today, hit that red subscribe button if you want to keep up with all of the latest Apex tips and tricks and Apex strategy guides as well. But with that being said, guys, first things first, I want you to open up your settings, go into your settings tab, click on the video tab, and we got to look at a couple things here that are really going to make a difference in how well and how consistent you can be with your aim. First things first, guys, where it says VSync right here, make sure that is disabled. If you're unfamiliar with VSync, pretty much it tells you right here what it does. Vertical sync controls the trade-off between screen tearing and the time it takes for your actions to appear on the screen. In other words, input lag. Long story short, guys, if you have VSync on, what that does is reduces screen tearing. When you change directions very quickly, you might notice some screen tearing, especially when you play on PC. It is noticeable. But VSync gets rid of that, makes the image a little smoother. But what it also does, guys, is give you major input lag. So turn VSync off. That is my first recommendation to you guys. It's going to improve your FPS. So do yourself a favor. Make sure VSync is turned off. Also, I'd recommend turning off anti-aliasing. That's going to reduce the GPU load. And the idea for the rest of the settings, I have them on low or very low or disabled. For the most part, the reason for that, guys, it's reducing the GPU and CPU load. That's going to give you more frames per second, or FPS. And when you're aiming, guys, in a first-person shooter, FPS is key. The higher your FPS is, the better and more consistent your aim will be. So trust me on that, guys. That's our first tip of the day. And now, guys, the second thing I wanted to bring up regarding your sensitivity issues and different things like that is the DPI of your mouse. Mine currently is set to 400, and if I go over to my mouse and keyboard settings, my mouse sensitivity is at 2.3. Now that's probably on the low end. With a mouse DPI of 400, I have a very oversized, I think it's a 14x17 mouse pad, which I recommend for just about anybody. I wouldn't recommend going above 800 DPI, guys. Now there's some players, there are exceptions, of course. Some people have 1600 and some people use 3200 or beyond. It all depends on what you're comfortable with, guys. But as a general rule, I would recommend sticking between 400 and 800. If you're already above that, I would say just give it a shot. Drop it down to 800. See how you feel. You can adjust your mouse sensitivity accordingly. But for the most part, guys, to generate the most consistency as far as your aim, think of a low DPI, 400 to 800. Mine, again, is at 400. A 2.3 mouse sensitivity. The second thing, guys, is to remember with your mouse sensitivity, I would recommend not changing this too often. Choose a sensitivity and stick with it for quite a while, like more than a week, if you play consistently in the game every day. Give it a shot, let it marinate, let it sink in, see how you feel with that sensitivity, guys. Now, guys, I'm going to show you a few drills for you to work on every single day. And these drills aren't just good for mouse and keyboard, but these can be good for you learning to aim better on controller as well if you happen to be a console player. In Apex Legends, guys, it's important to remember there's a wide variety of weapons. And all of us, guys, we have our own preferences, right? Everybody prefers certain weapons more than others. Some of us probably downright hate certain weapons in the game. But one thing I do want you to remember, guys, when you're in the firing range to practice your aim, switch between a wide variety of weapons. I would recommend using a set of weapons, specifically weapons that you particularly don't like to use. So for me, a Spitfire, for example, is not one of my favorite weapons. So that means I should practice with it. If you don't like the Wingman, which some people do, some people don't, practice with it, guys. You might be wondering why that is. Well, if you think about it in Apex Legends, there's a lot of RNG in Battle Royales in a game like this. And that has to do with where you land, where you drop, and what weapon you happen to pick up first, guys. Sometimes you really can't control what weapon that's going to be, and a lot of times, more often than not, if you don't like a lot of the weapons, it's going to be a weapon that you don't like. So spend some time, guys, using a wide variety of weapons in these drills and practicing particularly with the weapons that you do not like. So the first drill I want us to work on first, guys, is with the wingman. And what this is going to do is practice your flick shots. It's going to improve your flick shotting greatly just by doing this move a few minutes. About 10 minutes a day is really all you need. Do this move before you jump in to play some games for the day. I guarantee you over the next few days, over the next week or 2 or 3, you're going to see some vast improvements. So I put on a purple extended mag on the wingman here. And what this drill is going to do is improve our flick shots. So we're right here in the middle with our dummy and the 6 upright targets as well. So the first thing we're going to do, guys, is ADS. You can do this. I recommend trying this with iron sights as well as red dots, hollows, the very variety of sights that you might pick up in Apex. Because again, you don't know which sight you're going to have, and you might not even have a sight sometimes. So we'll start off with iron sights for now. And the first thing you're going to do is aiming right down the middle here. You can choose going either left or right first. We're going to go left. So all you're going to do is track over, get the headshot in the first one, move back to center, track over to the middle, shoot that, move back to center, move to the third, and back. Now that's very, very slow, guys. But I recommend just starting off slow, what you're comfortable with, moving back, flicking back, and trying to get that headshot every time. Now do this a few times until you start feeling really comfortable with it. And we're going to start with the left first. So work on this a little while until you start getting faster. And it's going to take a little bit of time, but you're going to start feeling more and more comfortable with it, guys. So to the left first, do the same thing to the right, as you might have guessed. You move to the right, move back to the middle, middle again, and flick back. Every time, guys, and then we're just going to do that faster and faster until we start feeling more and more comfortable. Do this as many times as you need to, guys, until you start consistently getting that headshot. So now we're going to do the same thing. I went ahead and put on a red dot ACOG classic sight on our wingman here, and we'll flick to the left first. And you do back and forth to the left, and do it consistently only to the left at first. Once you get very comfortable and very quick at it, then you can move over and do the right side. Now, once you feel comfortable and you're hitting the target consistently, it doesn't have to necessarily be a headshot. Headshot is the ultimate goal. But for the most part, guys, if you're hitting the target, you're going to be just fine. Now, what we're going to work on next is moving back and forth, left and right at the same time, guys. So we'll start with the inner targets first. We go left, right, left, right, left, right. And then we'll move to the center dummy because we have 8 bullets. We'll use those last 2 bullets onto the dummy itself. So we'll move to left, right, left, right, left, right, dummy, dummy. So guys, work on that. And that, of course, is a slow, start off slow, but then work your way up until you can do it as fast as you can and consistently be hitting those flick shots. So guys, once you do that, you're just going to work up faster and faster until you get lightning fast at that drill. Drill number 2 for you guys to work on daily to improve your aim in Apex Legends. And this one has to do with shooting at random targets across the map using different weapons. Again, using weapons that you're not particularly used to or weapons that you don't necessarily like very much, because as we know, Apex is very random, and it's important to recognize and to practice with a wide variety of weapons. Get used to their iron sights, which is another good point for me to bring up, guys, is to use the iron sights. Get used to the iron sights of different weapons, because you never know what situation you're going to be in an actual game. So we have an R301 here, and what you're going to do is just shoot at various targets across the map. Just 1 bullet is all you need. Get used to tracking to these different targets, to moving your crosshair to these targets, and just do this for a few minutes, shooting back and forth at various targets, moving to a random target. Doesn't have to be in a set order. It just has to do with practicing the movement from one target to the next, getting your arm and body and mind used to the distance that you have to move across your screen depending on your settings, which is also why you don't change your sensitivity too often, because your body gets this mind-muscle connection to where it knows how far you have to move your mouse to move a certain distance on the screen, guys. So just, again, random targets throughout the map. Doesn't have to be anything special, but this will be good practice for you. Another thing I recommend doing as well is using various weapons and understanding their recoil patterns. So we have an R99 here with no attachments or anything, no barrel extension or anything like that. So let's just check out what its recoil pattern is here when we're aiming straight ahead and just holding down the fire button. Now it's pretty much straight up. It does a little bit of a snake curve as we shoot, and it does go up quite a bit. So we know that we'd be pulling down on the mouse quite a ways to get rid of that vertical recoil. And as far as the S recoil, the snaking back and forth, not much you can do to control that. It is fairly minimal. And again, keep in mind this is with no barrel stabilizer attachment, which helps minimize that. So as we shoot at our dummy here, let's focus on pulling down on our mouse just a bit to compensate for that recoil. And we can hit the target every time. The R90 or the R301, as I grab more ammo over here, for that recoil pattern, if we take a look right here and we just fire straight ahead. Now it does kick up, but then it starts going left and right a little bit. So we have to pull down on our mouse as we fire. But then you notice right there, it tracked me off to the side thanks to that left and right recoil for the last, what would we say, like 6 bullets or so. So guys, just use that for a wide variety of weapons, understand their recoil patterns, and then just adjust accordingly. Most of the time, guys, you're going to have to pull down a little bit on the mouse to compensate for vertical recoil, especially on a weapon like the Havoc, which has very insane vertical recoil. You see how far it brings me up there, straight up into the sky. So guys, just get used to that for a wide variety of weapons. Understand their recoil patterns and how to compensate. And drill number 3, guys, has to do with tracking a moving target, both while ADSing and with your hipfire crosshairs. So we're going to move up to one of these, any of these moving targets will do. We'll pull out our weapon here. And all you're going to do, guys, is just try and put your crosshair right on the center of that target as it tracks back and forth. You're going to get used to how far you have to move your mouse. You're going to understand tracking, because typically for the most part in Apex Legends, guys, your targets are not standing in one place. So they're going to be strafing back and forth as they're shooting at you. This helps you just get used to the tracking motion, get your arm and wrist and hand and fingers used to how far you have to move to follow that target with your crosshair. And you're going to do it both with your hipfire, your ADS, as well as your hipfire crosshairs as well, because a lot of times, guys, Apex Legends, up close and personal, you're going to be hip firing quite a bit. So do just practice it both ways. Practice from different angles as well, as we move mostly to the front of this target right here. But you also move off to the side, as I recommend, guys, going somewhere closer to the target, moving farther away, and just practicing that tracking motion all together and understanding the speed that goes along with that. And of course, guys, you want to do this with a wide variety of weapons just to get used to their iron sights. That's one of the biggest deals in this right now, because oftentimes you're going to be stuck with only iron sights. So get used to the variety of weapons, their iron sights, and what it looks like for you to track with those. And drill number 4 for you guys to work on continuously every day in Apex Legends to improve your aim and how to aim better in Apex Legends is this last drill of the day, activating the bots and jumping and sliding around as you shoot at those bots while they shoot back at you. Now, when you activate the bots, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. You'll see that they'll spawn with a weapon and they'll move around slightly throughout the map, quite robotically, but nevertheless, guys, it is a moving target to shoot at, with also a similar hitbox size to actual characters and enemies you're going to see in the game. So we're going to go up to the far right cave up here as you go up the hill, all the way to our right. And once you get into this cave, you need to get up onto this ledge right here. So to do that, the easiest way is to be Pathfinder. So we're going to change legends, switch over to Pathfinder right here. And you also have to make sure for this to work properly, you can't be holding any weapons, guys. So we're going to drop our weapons right here. You can be holding ammo, but you can't be holding weapons. So we're going to go ahead and use our grapple to get up to this ledge here. You're going to move all the way forward right here. Crouch, look straight down, guys. And when you're right here, just crouched, looking straight down, all you simply do is change legends. So we're going to go ahead and go back to Bangalore. And as we do, we should hear a certain sound right here.
Let me at him.
There it is, a little click. And that means those bots have activated. Unfortunately, we do not have weapons. We do have ammo. We have to run down and grab some ammo to fight these bots. So guys, as we run back down the hill here, we can see the bots are active. They have turned purple, which means they are moving around. So we're going to go ahead and grab a weapon real quick and a body shield. And now you can shoot these bots freely, guys. They are supposed to shoot back at you, believe it or not. There they go. Now, I recommend they're going to respawn as soon as you kill them. All 3 bots will respawn. And all I recommend doing is practicing fighting each of these bots. And practice your movements as you do so, like you would be in an actual game, guys. Moving back and forth, shooting at these bad bots. And this is one of the best ways to practice in the firing range, aside from fighting somebody one-on-one, guys. You can do it this way and practice moving around as you shoot at these bots. And just get used, guys, to using your normal movements in Apex, moving back and forth, fighting the bots, avoiding their gunfire while you shoot back at them. Pretend as much as you can like it's an actual game, guys, and shoot these things. Practice shooting at them from different angles, getting the high ground on them, just getting used to an actual in-game situation, or at least as close as you can be. Now, to see my tips and tricks regarding Loba, click this video on your screen right here. And don't forget to subscribe if you already haven't for the latest Apex tips and tricks and strategies. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, guys, I will see you in the next video.